What's happening, guys? How's it going? Yeah, I've been closely observing this upcoming unification at light welterweight between Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor in the World Boxing Super Series, and there's a few things I wanted to talk about in regards to it. Yeah, as you guys know, this is probably my most anticipated fight of the year. I'm very excited about this one. I think it's a great fight. I like both of these guys a lot. And obviously, for you guys that have been following my channel, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Josh Taylor. I've been following his career pretty much from the beginning. I remember he was my favourite prospect to come out of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, where he won a gold medal. And yeah, when he turned pro, you guys might remember after he beat Dave Ryan earlier in his career, I pretty much predicted that this guy was going to be a future world champion. I knew he had the talent and the ability. And yeah, you guys will also remember if you've been following my prediction videos, you'll know that up until this point, in regards to Josh Taylor predictions, I've been very confident up until this point. In pretty much all of his fights, I've picked him to win. I mean, even when he was fighting guys who were way more experienced and seasoned than him, like when he fought Victor Postal, when he fought Miguel Vasquez, when he fought guys like Winston Campos, even when he fought Ryan Martin, Ivan Barancic. You guys know that I was very confident that Taylor was not only going to win those fights, but win those fights convincingly, and I said so from the beginning. However, going into his next fight, I've got to be honest, guys. I'm not so confident. I'm not so confident at all. In fact, at this stage, and I said so in my, when I reviewed the Taylor Barancic fight, at this stage, I'm favouring Regis Prograis to beat Josh Taylor. I think he's a stylistic nightmare for somebody like Taylor, and I'll get into that later. But a few of the things that I wanted to talk about was, the main thing was I was listening to a few interviews with Josh Taylor. There was one interview that I listened to in particular where he was basically assessing his development as a fighter. And when he was asked about Regis Prograis, I don't really know how much to read into this, but I was kind of disturbed and I was very concerned by the way that Josh Taylor seems to be almost dismissing Regis Prograis. Now, he made a couple of good points. He said something in the interview. He mentioned that when he fought Barancic, the Barancic fight was a very physical fight, a very physically demanding fight, a guy who was coming forward all night, throwing punches, looking for the knockout and applying pressure and looking to drag him into a fight. And he talked about how a few mistakes he made in that fight where he chose to stand and fight rather than back away and box, which would have made the fight a little bit easier for him. And he made some good points there. But then he went on to say that he thinks that the Prograis fight is going to be a much easier fight, and he went to say that it's not going to be a physical fight, that it's only going to be technical. Now, I do agree that Regis Prograis is very technical, that he's a good back foot boxer when he needs to be. But I think Josh Taylor's barking up the wrong tree if he thinks that this fight isn't going to be physical. Okay, I can almost guarantee you this fight's going to be physical. There's going to be moments in this fight where he's going to have to keep a guy off him, because Regis Prograis, if you guys have seen his fights, once he starts to get a rhythm and starts to get going, he's very powerful and he's very good at cutting off the ring. You guys might remember when he fought Julius Indongo. He just walked right through Julius Indongo and took him out in 2 rounds. Julius Indongo is a southpaw, he's quite a powerful puncher. A guy with a vast amateur background. I mean, as a pro, Julius Indongo had proven his worth at world level. I mean, he knocked out Troyanovsky in Russia. He beat up Ricky Burns in Scotland. So Julius Ndongo, obviously he'd lost to Terence Crawford by stoppage, but that was to be expected, wasn't it? I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. But yeah, Julius Ndongo was a pretty good fighter. And yeah, Regis Prograis took him apart like it was nothing. And I know he took the fight on short notice, but still, I thought it was a very impressive performance by Prograis. He also completely dominated and outboxed Kirill Relik, and Kirill Relik had never really been decisively beaten before. His other losses were close decisions, and one of them against Rances Bartholomew was a clear robbery. Okay, he beat Rances Bartholomew clearly in both of those fights, so he'd never really been decisively beaten before. And the way that Regis Prograis took him apart and schooled him, and he just completely deconstructed him and knocked him out early, to me was very impressive. Especially when you consider that Kirill Relik couldn't even land his jab. He couldn't really land any clean punches at all on Prograis. So I think Prograis has very good timing. He's a guy who, on the outside, makes the most of his southpaw stance. can make you miss the jab and whatnot. He's very good at pushing forward and working the body inside while slipping punches and while not getting hit much. He kind of reminds me of James DeGale used to do that in his prime. He used to get right up on your chest and you couldn't really hit him, and he would swarm you on the inside. Ricky Hatton used to do it too. You could use a lot of examples of this. Maybe Andre Ward, Tim Bradley. They were both good at this. They would get right on your chest, and they would seem to be shortening their punches inside, but you can't really seem to hit them. It's like your punches just go right over the head or skim past the face, and you can't seem to really hit him in the head clean or the body. And that's what I see from Regis Prograis. He's a guy who's very good on the inside, and he's very good on the outside. I think he's also deceptively fast. He's got very fast hands, and he's a devastating knockout puncher. Now, yeah, he's been the distance. I know that Terry Flanagan went the distance, but Terry Flanagan's a guy who has got a pretty good chin, pretty good defense, and I think he was basically put on the defensive from early on against Regis Prograis, and I think Terry Flanagan was pretty much surviving. Regis Prograis, I think, is a very good fighter, and he also proved in that fight that he can fight a hard 12 rounds at a good pace. So I think Regis Prograis is a lot more dangerous than Josh Taylor's given him credit for. And I think if Josh Taylor's expecting an easy night, he's in for a rude awakening. I really do, because Josh Taylor's never fought anybody like Regis Prograis. Now, he has fought world-class opponents. Like I said, he's fought Victor Postal and Miguel Vasquez. And, he's fought guys who can box. He's fought guys who can move. He's fought guys who are awkward. He's fought guys like O'Hara Davis, who was a pretty big puncher, who was throwing a lot of wide hooks, and Taylor got on the inside and took him apart from the inside. He did the same to Vasquez, and at times he did that to Postal. He was able to get close and work the body and stuff like that. But I think Taylor, like when he fought Baranchik, he was forced onto the back foot a few times, and I think he does have some defensive flaws on the inside, and some fighters will be able to exploit that. And I think if he decides to fight Regis Prograis, like if he decides to try and match him on the inside, I could see Regis Prograis knocking him out, if I'm being honest. So I'm rooting for Josh Taylor. I hope he wins the fight. Obviously, I'm a big fan of his. He's one of our boys, but I just think it's a tough ask at this stage. At this stage, I'm favouring Prograis, and I'm a little bit disappointed by the things Taylor's been saying on the build-up. Yeah, I think he should be a lot more cognitive of the risk. So, yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video and talk about this. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and yeah, God bless.